The European Union is attempting to make it a criminal offence in the Republic of Ireland to oppose uncontrolled immigration and to argue against further European integration. This is where the hate speech that we've been debating in Britain for so long, this is where it gets to. If you allow people like the College of Policing, if you allow people like Keir Starmer, if you allow people like the Supreme Court of the United Kingdom to get their way, they will do to you what they're attempting to do to the Republic of Ireland. I want to explain this case to you, not because I care about the Republic of Ireland. I think after its behaviour under Leo Varadkar during the Brexit negotiations, the country can take a hike. But nonetheless, I think it's something that we can learn from in this country. Hello everyone, this is Andre Walker. Thanks so much for watching this video. Please do subscribe, but more importantly, hit the bell notification icon. It's the best way to absolutely guarantee you get all my videos as soon as they are released. Well, there was a ruling in the European Court in 2008, which was concerned about Holocaust denial, that ridiculous, largely debunked theory that Jews were not hurt during the Second World War, that gypsies and homosexuals were not rounded up during the Second World War. I personally don't have any concerns about free speech in this area, simply because it's been so thoroughly debunked through public debate that it almost proves that no platforming people is a bad idea. But nonetheless, what every country in the European Union was forced to do is bring in laws that did two things. Not only did they criminalise incitement to violence, which of course we all agree with, but also anything that would lead to hate. Hate being defined by the public bodies that prosecute. That, I would suggest to you, is extremely worrying. Remember what they're saying to us, that if you don't dislike Jewish people, then that could be a hate crime in of itself because of the whole cause of the Gaza terrorists and Hamas. Nonetheless, I think that what the Republic of Ireland brought in was relatively sensible. They brought in the Criminal Justice Incitement to Violence or Hatred Offences Bill 2022 to update the law. Essentially, what they were saying was you can't incite people to commit acts of violence against somebody else. All eminently sensible. Now, here is the problem. In October last year, the European Union said that they believed this law did not go far enough. Specifically, why didn't it go far enough? Because it criminalised incitement. It did not criminalise hate. In the same way as the United Kingdom has this same thing. Have you seen the way the College of Policing, have you seen the way your local police constable, have you seen the way that, that the Home Secretary, that the Prime Minister, that Richard Harmer wants to ensure that hate becomes a crime, or inciting hate becomes a crime, and we've recorded these non-crime hate incidents as a result. In Ireland, they now have a battle with the European Union over this. The European Union wants the Irish Republic to dump its Article 40 commitment to free speech and amend the Constitution so your free speech can be curtailed if they believe that you are either deliberately or accidentally causing hate. Now, what is hate? Well, you know what? I hate a nonce. I guess that would be considered acceptable, unacceptable, I don't know. But what we're really talking about here is we are talking about creating a judicial framework to criminalise politics. And this is the big issue. So Robert Buckland, the former Lord Chancellor, explained this. He said one of the big problems that we're having now at the moment is the way that the left want to force political debate into the courts. Let me give you an example. The Chagos Islands, that wholly fake court case in the international courts. The reality is there is a political decision to be made as to whether the United Kingdom should keep hold of these islands in order to protect the strategic interests of the United States of America, or whether it should be handed over to a vassal state of China. This is a political, military and strategic decision. It's got nothing to do with the courts, and yet it was pushed through the courts in order to make an unpalatable political situation in Britain seem like a fait accompli. Similarly, if you don't like what I say, and plenty of you, by the way, watch this and criticise me in the comments section, which is wholly legitimate, this is about debate. If you don't like what I say, what you've got to do is argue against it or prove me wrong. It's not about forcing it into the courts. If you think that I'm anything other than an honourable gentleman, then actually you create a dangerous situation. Boo! What am I talking about? Okay. So there is an assumption in British parliamentary debating, which I used to do, which, by the way, I'm staying in the London School of Economics tonight, hence the background just reminded me of university. But anyway, there was always an assumption in British parliamentary British parliamentary debating that you were an honourable gentleman. And that is to say that if you caused racism, if you caused problems or division, it was accidental. So you go, is the honourable gentleman aware that if he were to enact this policy on refugees, then it would potentially make people more sceptical of black people in the country or whatever? The point I'm making is this, that what you would do is you would assume that hate didn't exist. You would assume that bad things didn't exist. And what actually existed was poor communication and poor debate. So what is the result of what's happening now? Well, what's happening now, very simply, is this. We are assuming, like the left always do, that some people are evil, i.e. the right, and we are making it illegal for them to argue what they want, because whether they deliberately do it or accidentally do it, they are promoting hate. And that is something that ought to be criminalised. What we should be saying, and what the Irish Republic should be saying, and what the peoples of Europe who wish to be freed ought to be saying is no, 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 no. You are trying to ban genuine political discord. You are trying to ban genuine political debate because you want to crush democracy in this continent. We believe that there's no such thing as hate. What there actually is incitement and there is debate. And the fact that I'm arguing against, say, the wearing the burqa out in public, but bizarre at that, because actually I'm against criminalising it. But imagine I was in favour of criminalising the burqa. I'm not doing it because I hate the person wearing the burqa. I just think it's ludicrous for you to walk around with a sack over your head in a country where there is no reason whatsoever to wear it. By the way, wearing a burqa in a country with sandstorms is eminently sensible, which is why they do it in Saudi Arabia. It's Saudi Arabian dress, not traditional Islamic dress. But I warn you, that we can sit round all day and we can say that this idea of putting nebulous hate into the statute book and forcing courts to criminalise genuine political debate, we can say, well, we left the European Union. But I will tell you something. You've got to be very, very careful indeed. Because just as the EU have attempted to force Ireland to put hate on the statute book, so will the College of Policing, so will Keir Starmer, Richard Harmer and Yvette Cooper attempt to put it on the statute books. Look at exactly what they've done in Scotland, where even debating the demerits of immigration in your own home could lead to criminal prosecution. In fact, at one stage, we thought the Scottish police were going to arrest people like me from broadcasting my radio show in London, because that show broadcast also in Scotland. So there is an enormous danger here with all of this. And I will tell you, I would actually repeal a lot of legislation that's in at the moment. I got this, I stole this from Tom Harris from the Free Speech Union. But what Tom Harris said, if you look at Lucy Conley, the lady who said, I wouldn't care if you burnt down all of these refugee homes or hotels. What happened there was this, well, it could incite somebody. In the United States of America, you have to actually incite somebody to actually do something. So you have to say, rather than, I'm making this up on the spot, I don't care, well, let's use Lucy Conley's example. For all I care, you can burn down every migrant hotel. Instead of saying that, you would have to say, go to this address and burn down this migrant hotel. Do you see the difference? Because, very simply, Lucy Conley probably didn't intend, and almost certainly didn't intend, to incite anybody at all, nor was anybody incited. It was this theory that somebody might be incited. I think that we should drop laws even further. And you know what? If you say something hate-filled to me, then it's sticks and stones may break my bones, but names will never hurt me. What will hurt you is if democratic debate is not possible to have, and I will tell you something else. I beg the Irish, after what you did with Varadkar, after that stupidity of the border wall with the United Kingdom, please, for the love of God, do not drop the part of your constitution, Article 40, that guarantees free speech. What is going to happen next? I'll tell you what will happen next. They will start rounding people up in Ireland in the same way, and let's get back to the original bit, they did during the Holocaust, because let me tell you, it is ludicrous what the College of Policing is saying, this pyramid of hate. What they say is, and you can read it, it's utterly ludicrous, and they can't cite even one single example of this. If you go out and start saying nasty things about people, in the end it will lead to a genocide. Well, you can prove that that's not true. First of all, Adolf Hitler did not sit there and go, well, I used to quite like the Jews until I heard about what they all said in the newspapers. That's not true. Every genocide that has taken place in the world, the public body that's done it has sought to suppress free debate about that genocide. And that is almost, I think that is universally true. But next, if you want to test out the theory that the College of Policing, that the EU and the Irish Republic are saying, all you have to do is go out and about with a megaphone and make up a group. I give the example of tall people. Go out with your megaphone on the streets every single day and start shouting about how tall people are a danger to society and a danger to national security. If the College of Policing are right, then fairly shortly after you starting to do that, a group of people will become convinced that tall people are a danger to national security. A percentage of them will begin to join your group. Then a percentage of them will begin to commit violence against tall people. And then over a period of time, if you are not prevented from saying that tall people are a danger to national security, in the end there will be a government elected who will start gassing them. Now, I warn you, that you can't do this to a protected group, but you could do it for tall people. Go out this weekend and try and prove whether that's true. What will actually happen, you will find, is that people will mock you or debunk you. You will not gain more supporters and it will not lead to a genocide. That non-crime hate incident, if you like, will not lead to genocide in the way that the police and the Home Office and the College of Policing say it will. Actually, what causes this sort of violence is when debate is not out in the open. And I worry about Ireland and I worry about the UK in that respect. Until next time, goodbye.